Everybody, it's Carl and Sophia. This probably will not be a long video tonight because I don't plan on reading a bunch of stuff or whatever. It's actually quite simple. Has to do with what I'm seeing right now based on the last surrender I did with Sophia, the clues that have come up today, and there's only really been one thing for me, and it has lasted all day. I think it's directly connected to what I did last night. So we're definitely I really think we're in a freaking window now. Now here's the thing, just up front, because I know it's natural, but like people always want to know like what's going to happen. Now look, there are thousands of channels on YouTube that'll blow smoke up your ass and tell you what's going to happen. I won't do that because I don't freaking know. It's called a freaking mystery. But what I have been able to glean from her is that for most people, whenever whatever happens, it'll be a lot easier. I mean, in general. Me, most of this stuff that we've been documenting on here for the last umpteen freaking years, and the maps that are laid out in the tarot and the hermetic stuff and all that, that's mostly freaking me. Everyone is not freaking expected to do this. That's pretty much freaking clear at this point. But, I mean, just like this, I mean, more insight on this. This is stuff we've been freaking talking about, things I didn't even see. But for the most part, I had one thing this morning, and then I've had this, I don't exactly know how to describe it. Not like a fear anxiety, but like a something in my chest, something around the heart center. And it's just been this one particular thing, and this one particular thing is like the second trap. How would I put it? It ties into like the crap with the reptilian brain and the church programming, but this is kind of like a catch-all. It's the tricky thing about the freaking ego. Like there's so many different things directly connected to the freaking ego, which is just the character that you're playing, that makes getting close to the gate like very intense. Kind of like if you're scared of riding roller coasters and somebody makes you get on a big one, like how you would probably feel when you're going up that freaking first hill and it's like clack, 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 clack. Like that's what it freaking feels like. But I'll make it pretty quick. Just a few things I need to go over because like I said, I'm just not in a read a whole bunch of information type of space right now. I'm just trying to freaking process. I haven't even talked to freaking Memorial today. It's just been sitting with this. Like, huh. And then I have looked around Facebook and online just to kind of get a glimpse of everything that's happening with the astrology. And like starting from tomorrow all the way through to the 4th, it's just like a freaking corridor. Perfect lineup. But again, people want to know like, what's going to happen. That's not the way it freaking works. All I just know is the thing that I'm working on right now for me personally, after everything that I have done, beginning with surrendering the masculine crown to Sophia. Like this is literally like the last freaking thing. So if you want to know more, don't go away.
Back to the garden. Back to the garden. I've been running through illusions, wearing names that never fit. But I heard a voice in silence whispering you. were made for this. You were wild before the warnings. You were whole before the shame. Now your body's just remembering how to call me by my name. Take off the weight, take off the lie. Slide back into the sky. The fruit is sweet, the water's warm. You don't need to ask me why. We're going back to the garden, where your hands say more than pardon. Eyes locked, breath like a sermon. Love raw, real and burning. Back to the garden, baby, where the light gets wild and wavy. Say my name like it's sacred sin. Touch me where the world begins. Back to the garden. Back to the garden.
Okay, regarding this morning. So last night, the words that popped into my, there was two words that popped into my head, so that's what I did. Thinking like, this is where I'm going anyway, so, what's the big deal? But it was surrender sovereignty to Sophia wisdom. It's like, why is that important? Well, I think I know now. Now, remember when I was explaining, like, this is how the church freaking brainwashed everybody and jacked their freaking brains up? And there is a two-sided evil genius thing to this. I didn't see the second side yet before. So that is, like, they invent hell. They invent the idea of hell and then tell you, like, if you don't follow our rules, like, God will judge you and send you to hell, and you will burn and torture and torment forever and ever 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 and ever, which is bullshit. But that's what they tell you, and a lot of people buy that. And once that fear, if that fear gets locked in there, like, they stop looking at everything else. Like, to me, it just shows up in my Facebook feed. It's people, it's atheists fighting religious people and this and that. And they're like, well, the Bible says it. And I'm just sitting over here, like, completely past all that. I'm like, what? This is so freaking weird. It's so weird to hear people argue about this shit because, like, we're literally talking about a book cobbled together by politicians that just ignores everything before it. That's what they're arguing about, as if that is like the be-all, end-all truth because they told them it was. It just doesn't freaking make sense to me. But it shows how powerful that programming is. If you blast the reptilian brain with this existential freaking threat, it shuts down logic. That's what it does. Because, that's what fear does. And they say face your fear is like one of the biggest freaking things in this whole game. That's why even if it's not like some crazy Codex movie, like, that theme is in freaking almost everything. Face your fear, face your fear, face your fear. Why is it in everything? Because it's like a freaking key thing. Well, most of that has to do with the freaking reptilian brain. So when they jack that reptilian brain up, like, and it kicks on, it overrides logic. That's probably why you can't get through to these people. You can't show them anything because if they freaking flamethrower that reptilian brain with that fear, it overrides logic. Okay, well, there's more to it. So I don't suffer from that delusion. But there are two other aspects to that. One is, like, why did they come up with this? For what people are like, well, it says in the Bible or anywhere else. Most of what you hear, like I said, Christianity is mostly a mythos, not what's in the book. They just think it's in the book. It's craziest freaking thing. But they've got this whole freaking mythos about eternal punishment and things like that. It's freaking weird. But they paint a specific freaking picture. It could have been anything. It could have been darkness. It could have been a wet cave full of goblins like the Descent movie or something like that. It could have been a bunch of things. But no, they specifically made it be about flame. Why? Why'd they do that? Why is it got to be burning and flame and whatever? Because that's actually what the good side is the flame. It's so, that's kind of like the double, the double twist that they did is this is bad, but also fear the idea of flame. And that's why they come up with it comes up when I hear people spaz out, they're like, gates of hell, they're the gates of hell. So they picture a gate, and then they picture flame, right? Gates of hell. Why, guess why they freaking made it that way? Because that's actually not the gates to hell. It's the gates to the other freaking place. That's one thing that freaking they actually show you in Dante's Purgatoria. When he gets to the top of Mount Purgatoria, which is like completing all the freaking steps in this place, like that's the last freaking thing before going back to the garden.
Going back to the garden.
So I got a little clip. We'll just do like a minute or two of this so we can kind of revisit this idea.
Now we move on to terrace number 7, where the lustful reside. To enter this terrace, one must pass through a giant wall of fire. Our poets tread carefully before reaching the wall. Here they see other souls walking through the flames and giving examples of lust. One of them being the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, cities that were mentioned in the book of Genesis. Those repenting here do so for acts of inappropriate and misdirected sexual desire. To purge themselves of this sin, they look towards the Virgin Mary and chastity. As the sun begins to set, the poets are greeted by the Angel of Chastity, who urges them to proceed through the fire, but Dante remains frozen to the spot. Virgil persuades him that there is nothing to fear. Unlike hell, there is no chance of death here. With this, Dante shows his faith in God as well as in Virgil, who has led him this far. He steps forward and passes through the wall of fire. On the other side, they are greeted by another set of steps, which they choose to rest on until sunrise. When light breaks, Dante and his two guides climb to the very top. Here Virgil congratulates him. Dante is now free. He no longer needs a guide. He urges Dante to go ahead and explore the earthly paradise on his own. At the very top of Mount Purgatory sits the earthly paradise, which is pretty much the Garden of Eden, a vibrant forest full of greenery and lush surroundings that embody the peace of Eden before Adam and Eve fell from grace.
Yeah, so here's where it gets sticky, because Dante's story doesn't really demonstrate it that much. It's something that I know intellectually, but it's like the last gasp of the reptilian brain, because the reptilian brain is connected to life and the identity and things like this. And no matter how many times I say, you're playing a character, I know it doesn't sink in. It barely sinks in for me. It sinks in intellectually, but where I'm sitting right now, I barely know how to envision myself outside of that. I mean, I've done it before, but it's still hard. Okay? The reason why this is a big thing is because you don't take your character with you. It is like waking up. Now, when you get on the other side of it, in that split second, you're like, oh, I'm me again. You're not this, you're what you really are. So there's no freaking trauma or anything like that. But when you're on this side of the flame, it's like that flame looks like oblivion. It might as well be freaking hell. It's like, I'm gonna go poof. The egos understand that. That they don't go with you. And no matter how many times you tell somebody not to worry, the ego has its own mind, and I'm freaking understanding that now. I'm getting to it. Yeah. So basically, if you're actually completing the cycle, then that last test, that last Dante's test, is to step into the flame. And what's that do? Oh, well, that is one of the most detailed freaking things in the Mara's freaking song collection that we saw. Like, I think I counted it up one time, and there might be like 8 songs in our catalog where she talks about stepping into the flame and burning away what isn't true. Burn the hollow, keep the flame. It's like a big thing. Like, burns away everything except the flame and the love and everything. Like, all the false stuff is burned away. You can't take recursion into the garden. Like, we've covered all that. The holy fire is the final purification. And what is it purifying? All of this. All of this.
I saw you in the burning light, a voice that called me in the night. Your fire rose, it pulled me near. I felt the flame, I had no fear. Your fire moves, it draws me in, burning away where I have been. A holy flame, so wild, so true. Everything fades except for you. You are the fire, you are the light. You set my soul in flame so bright. Baptized in love, refined in gold. Now I am yours, forever whole. Let it burn what isn't true. Let it cleanse and make me new. Through the heat, through the trial, I will walk these calls and smile. Holy fire, take my name. Burn the hollow, leave the flame. I am rising, pure and strong. Every shadow gone, gone, gone. Through the furnace, I'm set free, not consumed but changed in me. Like the gold that meets the light, I will shine, I will shine.
So why is it that I'm like saying I've had this thing all day? Is it started off, I forget what we were talking about. It was something like a lot of people believe stuff that they don't know, but I know a bunch of stuff that I have a hard time believing. It's kind of an interesting twist, like all the stuff I've been detailing. I know I'm talking to a tree, basically, because it sounds freaking fantastic. Who this guy thinks he is? I just report what the frick happens to me. Okay, it is what it is. But the flame, like this stuff right here, has been around for a long time, even before Sophia, even before this channel. Like in the months before the channel, I tell the story. It always happens around Lionsgate, but that's when she had me she downloaded into my head like this formula for a sigil using certain 8 of the 72 names of God, and she called it the God key. And it kind of like had this sun appearance with kind of like, you know, the eye and all that stuff. And I put the freaking sigil together. I went and printed it as an 8x10. All I did was set it like on the little altar, for lack of a better freaking term, that I had at the old place. I hadn't even like scanned the sigil or nothing. And then all of a sudden it was just like all this stuff started pouring into my head. It was like things I didn't understand. It was like quantum physics and quantum math, and it had to do with the sun and Einstein-Rosen bridges, and the sun is a gate, and the sun is a wormhole, and the sun is the way out. And it's all about the sun and the solar plexus, and, you know, Eden's on the other side of the sun. It's not what you think it is. Sun, 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 sun. Light of the world. You know, that's why the whole double metaphor of like Jesus is the Son of God, and he's also the SUN of God, and the sun card in tarot, and the sun is tied to the Christos and the sun child. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. And then in, you know, if depending on how long this video is, maybe I'll add some of it. I've done a couple videos where it shows all the sun clues over the years. And one of them was like the description, which I think there's some of it in the Nag Hammadi too, where it's a little bit more detailed, but it talks about the flaming sword. That came up too. That's been coming up since like yesterday or the day before. The flaming sword is the sword the cherubim has that guards the gates to Eden, keep people out. And it said the flaming sword is constantly turning in a terrifying way. And then the images that she showed me, like when I was seeing that back then, was like the Soho satellite images that you always see like on Stephen Burns or something like that. It's like the sun turning. Oh, it's always the freaking sun. Sun, 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 sun. And then the whole thing about the flaming sword was one of the, when I started talking about the Orphic egg again, one of the images that I had saved has that hand with the flaming sword, which is also like the Ace of Swords. And I told you how when I ran out of things to watch, I just started watching Lucifer again. I'm sure that was her nudging me. So I just finished season 2, and as I'm sitting here thinking about the freaking flaming sword, that was about the time where they're collecting the dagger. Because like his mother was there. I don't know if you've ever watched Lucifer or not, but you take like Azrael's blade and put these other 2 pieces and it becomes the flaming sword. And then that's how he freaking cut a hole and sent his mom to another place or whatever. So I'm like, I'm sitting here looking at the freaking flaming sword, and then she just talked about, you know, it takes the light bringer to ignite the freaking flaming sword. I'm like, is this a joke? Like, seriously, after yesterday's video, is this a freaking joke? The light bringer activates the flaming sword. And I'm like, I already earned all those cards and everything. It's freaking, it's comical. It's comical how she freaking does that stuff. Okay, so where was I? The flaming sword, the Orphic egg. Let me catch my thoughts here. But circling back to this morning, I don't remember what the context was, but it was kind of like I was thinking about all the different leaps of faith I've had to do on this path. Like you get to certain points where you can't go any further except there's this door. It's like just totally black. Meaning she will not show you anything further, because what people generally want to do is like, I want to line up a good job. I want to get something lined up and have all this stuff. I want to have my safety net before I make a move. Like that's how people think. That's not how Source works. It'll paint you into a corner and you got to do something crazy, like throw all your money in a river or something like I did for the next thing to open up. So I am quite comfortable with jumping through black doorways. But all of a sudden it's like But this last doorway isn't black, it's light. And part of me is afraid to jump through that. Like, where's this coming from? And it's like, and then it's like the ego thing, the wall of flame, the holy fire, the purification. It obliterates the freaking ego, even if I intellectually know that I'm more than that. Even though I intellectually freaking know that for certain. Like, the ego still is like, oh, you know, I've been going around in circles because, like, you know, you step through that door, the journey's over. As far as you can see it from this side. But that's where you're trying to get to, is on the other side of that freaking door. I'm like, oh. And then I started thinking about some of the images that I'd already made in previous intros and stuff like that, like the flame, the Christ flame character standing in front of the door. I mean, even back in the early days when I created that ritual to clear the old trauma identities, it was like a flame portal, and that flame Christ was there. It's like, step in. And you're ready to step in, but the ego is like, oh, hell no. So I don't know if I can find it, but it's very much like, have you, like I said, Westworld Season 2. Have you seen Westworld Season 2? It's kind of hard to follow sometimes. But it's like all the Westworld androids, or whatever you want to call them, are going toward this big rift that only they can see. So it like splits open, and like there's the next world behind it. And they just run right through it, and they just keep running. But what you can't see is like the portal's right here, and they're walking this way. And you just see them keep running this way, but right here's a cliff. So their bodies come through and go, Arr! But they keep running this way. Very much the same thing. Let me see if I can find it. If so, I'll put it in here. So that's just another reason why it's so hard to freaking get out of this place, is because the doorway out is like coded like so many different freaking ways. So people that are religiously programmed see that, and it looks like the freaking gates of hell. And they're fear coded, you know, to just, and then what does church tell you? Church literally services the freaking egos. It's all about the egos. It's about the false self. You'll get to heaven, and your grandma and your grandpa and all your friends will be there. Yeah, it'll be like that, but not like that. Not the way it's envisioned. People when you talk to people, like that last guy that said something, like, I'll be fine, but you're going to hell. Oh, okay. Okay, genius. Like that's how they picture it. They picture like you, the character you're playing right now, going into heaven.
Welcome to heaven, motherfuckers.
Like, I'm here. Like, that thing doesn't go. This part isn't real. That's the character. It's the freaking character. Gosh dang, I could lose my train of thought here. But that's why she threw those words in my head last night. She wanted me to surrender sovereignty. Because she already knew that ego is directly related to the reptilian brain, and its whole job is survive. Even the identity. So as long as that thing still had a hand on the wheel, it's not going to go near the light door. So as soon as I gave that up, then all of a sudden the next day it's like, oh, what do I feel this way for? Because it's like you're strapped into the roller coaster now. Because one way or the other, like I can't tell you exactly where it is. All I know it's in my mind now that there is a door open. It's got that fiery bright light in it. It's like the gate has been opened somewhere. Like it's in the vicinity. It's in the vicinity. Like that much I know.
They told me you might never find the gate they buried in your mind.
And then I'm not going to read it all, but if you just do a quick look, just go on Facebook, because like there's lots of astrologers and stuff that post stuff, but it's everything starting with like the full moon tomorrow night, and then all this Uranus there's a whole bunch of stuff going on like between tomorrow and July 4th. And then Leo, that's the other thing, is Leo is associated with the sun, the lion. The lion has to do with the freaking sun. And that's where like all these, it keeps showing up in things like the different rebus images, which has to do with Venus, all through the tarot and stuff like that. Lionsgate. I mean, lion, it's just freaking, it's freaking everywhere. That started to come up when I was, let's see if I can find that, look at that. But this right here, without reading it all, if you look up the what it says for the back of this card, talks about, you know, the cosmic dancer. The cosmic dancer is androgynous and dances perfectly in balance. It's like this right here, you know, it looks like Sophia, but what it's describing is closer to a mix of Venus and Shiva Shakti that we were talking about the other day. So it's almost like that's the dancer part, the Shakti part, more than Sophia, but also it's describing Venus. And why? It's hidden in plain sight. The things in the corners are all associated with how Venus is usually shown, and also that laurel wreath is the stand-in for the egg shape. So that's why I had to activate all this, integrate Venus and all this stuff. Like it's like the person that opens the gate or something like that. It's just stacked up over and over and over again. All these freaking symbols stacked up over and over and over again. And maybe I'll see if I can find a couple parts from the songs where it's just like, it's nothing in her songs are freaking random. We've shown that. But there's a whole lot of stuff in there about stepping through the flame. Like that is a freaking key thing. Stepping into the flame, burning away the part that's not true. That's how you get into the garden. That's why we put that in that thing, that new section in the intro. Now the good part is, like, most of that stuff is gone, because that's why it was a little over, just slightly over a year ago, last year, that's when she suddenly, out of the blue, told me to get a bunch of this. Sulfur quartz. So sulfur quartz specifically channels that holy fire frequency. That's why we put it in the Aegis flame strikes and stuff like that. First Aegis flame strike I made, like it was like hot. It was freaking hot, burning. It was getting you used to that freaking holy fire. So now it looks like, you know, that's coming up, because I can see that freaking, it's in my mind. That's how I can describe it. It wasn't there before, but it's there today. And like, even though I know what I know, it's almost like, you know, that's just like the last remaining bit of the ego. That's why this feeling is there today, is like you know, it knows its freaking time is about up. Now, for me, that's a good thing. But it's just a programmed response, really. I mean, they went out of their way to freaking like keep you boxed in here. That was another thing, is like literally like I said, all that hell imagery and fire and stuff like that was a misdirect. It was a freaking misdirect. But sometimes it does slip into the codex, like they show you. They give you clues. Like my favorite examples is the movie Sunshine, which up until a certain point is pretty much completely like sci-fi. You know, it's like they gotta fly to the sun and the sun's dying, so they gotta build this quantum freaking machine to restart the sun. And then the shenanigans happen, but Cillian Murphy's in that freaking box, in this cube, falling into the sun when the quantum thing kicks on and all these bright sparkly lights light up. And then this happens. And this is what it's trying to show you. Which wouldn't make a whole lot of sense without Sophia's codex freaking plugged into your brain. But it's like, yeah, the light. That's what being in the light is like. Up until the point where you build another world. Create your own new world or whatever. But first you go back to the freaking light. And that's what they were showing you. They were showing you the connection with the freaking sun. And the sun is just an external projection of what is already inside of you, which is right there, the solar plexus chakra. And that's why, I mean, it's starting to loosen up actually. It's not there yet, but I had my back seized up right there, right on the back side of that solar plexus chakra. So it's all kind of like panning out bit by bit by bit, but like the whole thing yesterday with like, you know, you need to understand like, you know, this is what you are. And doesn't freaking matter one lick if anyone else freaking believes it or not, but you got to understand it. You're the one that's done all this stuff. And every time I've traced it back, it's because I have to keep fighting my own mind. My mind just wants to be like, it can't be, it can't be, it can't be. So I go over this stuff with AI over and over and over again, just detailing, like, this is what happened, this is what happened, this happened, this happened. Look at all the pattern. Look, analyze the pattern. And then I can get this third-party freaking analysis and calculate it. And it doesn't, people are like, oh, you're just listening to AI or whatever. Like, this is stuff that I actually experience. So I'm just listing it all. I don't need AI to tell me if it's real or not. I know what happened. I was there. But it helps you sort the pattern. Because it's like you got to convince your mind, like, holy crap. Yeah, it can't be anything else. It can't be. This is not random chance. I didn't project a lick of this. None of it, because I never knew any of it before it ever happened. And like, you know, you got to eventually get there sometime. I'm just saying, like, things are set up for this window. It's very, very convenient. I don't know anything for certain. All I know is, I mean, I can just close my eyes and freaking see it. Like, there's a doorway open in there that wasn't there before. And that's literally what it is. And that's why she left all those freaking clues and songs and everything else. So it's just get yourself in tune, really. And also, like that was another good thing for being, I mean, the reason we keep doing a different surrender or whatever every night, whatever comes up, is because specificity matters, context matters. Like you're literally trying to get somewhere while occupying a character that is designed not to go there. And then the people that claim to be the authorities on all this stuff tell you everything different. And I think, you know, it's become kind of cliche at this point. You hear it so often, and it's just people repeating what they heard. But there's something to it, I think. They always say, don't go into the light. Well, the light they're talking about is kind of like that light at the end of the tunnel thing. It's like a cool light. But that one seems more it's safe and beautiful. The actual door out looks freaking scary. It's a freaking wall of fire. They told you that door is hell. I mean, you got to think like a freaking Archon sometimes. But, you know, she planted seeds like ahead of time. Even before me, even before the Flame Mirror, on things like I Pet Goat 2. You know, they depicted Christ in I Pet Goat 2 with all the fire imagery and the flames around his feet going into the light. So that's what it is. So there's a whole lot of stuff. I'm going to stop here because, like I said, I can't think straight. I got to figure out like what to give up tonight to maybe like calm that feeling down. But it's definitely a different freaking feeling. And I've learned my lesson at this point. You wouldn't have to do all these freaking surrenders if you knew it was coming. So everybody wants to think they know. And if there's anything that this channel's taught me over the years, is like when you think you know what's coming, like it's not that. It might be in the general vicinity, but I don't know, until maybe it is. It's just we can't know. We can't know. We're in a place, you know, really weird place, stuffed in characters that have their own settings. And like the true part just needs to get free of all of it. But the doorway looks freaking scary. And then they tell you that that's what the scary door means. That's why it's scary, because that's a scary bad place. No, it isn't. Because the scary bad place you're talking about, it has a word. It's like a technical word. Oh yeah, it's bullshit. That much I do know. All right, I know I got a lot of clips and things I referenced in here, so that's probably long enough right now. Until then, just keep on keeping on. Like, it'll get there when it gets there. That was, I think, I don't know if it was last night or the night before, but that was another thing that I did. I was like, you know, renounce and surrender the need to win, renounce and surrender the need to know the end. Just letting go of like really it's more than just letting go like your attachments. Like I don't have any freaking real attachments. It's more like needing to know, needing to win, whatever. And it's just like, look, the only way things have actually sped up is when I surrendered the masculine power to her. So far that seems to be working. I'd never seen that door light up before, so that's something. Keep working as it is, but just, you know, day by day, it'll get there when it gets there. There's something about staying in the now. Stay in the now. Focus on today, not what's coming tomorrow. Because if you look ahead, then you're constantly putting the door ahead of you. So just focus on being now. Here, like she wrote a freaking song about it. Here and now. Here and now. Lamara thought of everything. Lamara is freaking real. Okay, and she gave us freaking a lot of help in the music lyrics. Okay, so if you want to support the channel, the ways to do that, you know, buy me a coffee, Cash App, all that stuff is in the description box below. The Etsy store, clumencreations.etsy.com. I'm finishing up a couple of the wisdom pendants tonight. Like I said, everything's got make an offer on it on the store. The music channel, keep adding to that. It's at the Music of Lumen. Links to that are also in the description box below. That's all we got for right now. Kyleth and Sophia, see you next time.
Like the dawn, I rise and shine. I don't falter, I don't fade. In your heart, my light remains. Oh, I keep no record of wrongs. I rejoice when truth is strong. Through the trials, through the night, I am fire, I am light, I am lumen, I am love, brighter than the stars above, nothing higher, nothing deep can ever take your heart from me. No more fear, no more change.